On the 27th of November 2022, this politician came home after a long night of drinking in a bar, only to find his wife brutally murdered in their home. 35-year-old Sibusiso Kula had gone out to drink with friends on that day. It is possible he came home drunk, but when he got home, he realized that his house had been broken into and everywhere had been scattered. Before he left home, it was just his wife, 31-year-old Jennifer Motlomi, and their last daughter who were at home. They had other children, but Jennifer had sent those kids to live with their relatives. So on that day, it was just her and the kid, while her husband, Subisiso, had gone out to have fun with his friends. Unfortunately, when Subisiso came home that night, he found his wife dead in their house. She had been brutally stabbed multiple times and killed. But lucky for him, their little daughter was unharmed. Immediately, Subisiso called the police. And when the police arrived at the scene in their home in Kanana, Northwest Province in South Africa, they immediately suspected that it must have been a robbery. But Subisiso suspected more. Since he was a politician and a member of the parliament in the South African government, under the ANC party, he believed within himself that the person who had come to his house to kill his wife was a political enemy. To him, this was not a robbery, this was an assassination. Subisiso told the police that he suspected that it was a political rival who did this to his wife. But he never mentioned any specific enemy. He never mentioned anybody who could have been after him. So it was left for the police to investigate and find who the killer was. Throughout the whole November and December of 2022, the police was treating this murder case as a robbery gone wrong, and they were also looking at the possibility that it could have been a political rival. Jennifer was later buried in December that same year. However, her family had their doubts. They did not believe Subisiso's story. Remember, Jennifer had already sent the rest of her kids to live with her relatives, so she was only with their last daughter. So after she died, Subisiso collected the rest kids from the family and lived with them privately, even locking his house and locking them indoors, avoiding to put them in school, all because he was paranoid and scared that whoever killed his wife was going to come and kill him. But here's the thing, when Jennifer's family were around Subisiso and the kids, they noticed something odd. They observed that the last child, the one who was most likely there when Jennifer was killed, the one who most likely witnessed Jennifer get murdered, was acting strangely around Subisiso. According to Jennifer's family, whenever this little girl was around her father, she would run away from him. She was avoiding this man to touch or even carry her. This little girl's behavior around her father was very suspicious, and it made the family believe that there was so much more to Jennifer's murder than just a robbery or a political rivalry. After 2 months of investigation, the police decided to visit Jennifer's Facebook account, and it was in that Facebook account that they saw a particular post that made them find their very first suspect. Jennifer was fond of posting a lot about gender-based violence. Her entire Facebook page gave a lot of clues as to what may have happened to her. But one post in particular that read, "Gender-based violence is real. If I wake up killed or any member of my family, please don't look far." And it was this Facebook post that gave the police the idea that the killer they are looking for is not very far. And immediately Subisiso was arrested and tagged as the very first suspect. When he was arrested, the kids were taken away from him and handed back to Jennifer's family, pending investigation. As at the time of making this video, the case is still ongoing. But this is what we know so far, and this is why people are now suspecting that Subisiso was the one who killed his wife, allegedly. So here's a little backstory. So Jennifer and Subisiso were said to have met in college. At some point, they started dating and immediately had a daughter, their first child. Then they moved in together. Jennifer took on a job while Subisiso was trying to chase a political career. It was said he was focused on youth politics, and slowly he was going up in ranks and immediately got to join the ANC political party. He even started holding important posts in the youth section of the party and pretty much became a driving force in the party to reach out to the youths in South Africa, to maybe get their attention, get their interest in voting, and get them to maybe side with the ANC. That was pretty much his duty with the youths in the African National Congress. He wasn't earning much at this time because this was just a young man who wanted to make a positive difference in the political arena in South Africa. However, at this time, it was said he had already picked on the habit of drinking a lot and was coming home to be abusive to Jennifer and the kids. Physically abusive. He was always quick to anger, but Jennifer did not speak up about it. She kept it within herself. However, on her Facebook page, she would make cryptic posts regarding gender-based violence, toxic relationship, manipulation. She spoke a lot about the ills of relationships and marriages that wasn't specific on her, but just generic. Who would read it would think maybe she's talking about someone else or something she had seen. Not many people knew that this was her reality. Mind you, she was still managing life with Sibosiso and their kid, as well as her job. For what it was worth, she was the one holding the family down because she was the only one getting paid well at the time. However, during the 2019 national elections in South Africa, Sibosiso was elected as member of the parliament for the Northwest province, and this would change their lives forever. Sibosiso started earning good money. He started getting paid. Finally, his political dreams began paying off. He became rich to the point that they got a new house, new cars, and Jennifer had to stop work on his orders to become a full-time housewife. After all, their life has changed. After all, her husband is now making dough. She did not need to keep working and looking after the children anymore. And it could have been Sibosiso's idea too, because now that he was making banks, his wife did not have to suffer again. He could now afford to take care of the whole family, thereby pushing her to quit her job or pretty much stop work to focus on being a housewife. However, this decision for Jennifer to quit her job would prove to be fatal in what eventually became of her. Now, despite the fact that everything has changed, despite the fact that he had now started seeing money, his behavior did not change. He continued drinking and he still remained abusive. He also did not stop cheating. At this time, they had already given birth to 2 kids. And you would think this man, after making so much money, finally, he would calm down, but he did not. And I keep saying this, money will not change a person. It will only enhance who you are already. When he was poor, he was cheating, he was drinking, he was abusive. Now that he had money, best believe that it will be ×2 of how he used to do it. All the drinks he could no longer afford, he will finally be able to afford them. The women he could no longer afford, he would now be able to do them. And since he had so much pride, beating up his wife and kids when he was broke, best believe that now he has money, the pride will double. And this was something Jennifer did not realize. In 2021, she had another child, a little girl. And since she had this child and she was dealing with her husband's behavior, she decided to send her first 2 kids to live with her relatives, while she stayed with the baby and then focused on being a wife to her husband, who was already doing the most. It was on the 28th of May 2022 that she made the cryptic post talking about gender-based violence is real. If anything should happen to me, don't look far. And this post made a lot of her friends very concerned. They kept asking her to leave. They kept telling her that if she was in danger, she should leave. And she responded that she was planning on leaving the marriage, that she had it in mind that she was going to leave. But the problem now is that she couldn't just leave empty-handed. She had quit her job for a while now. She had no money. If she was going to leave, how would she be able to cater for the kids? Despite saying she would leave, she still did not leave. She continued living with him, with her baby, although she had made arrangements for her other kids to live with her relatives so that they will be protected, but she herself was in serious danger, as it seemed. It was also said she made police reports several times on her husband for physically assaulting her, but nothing was said to have been done with those reports. Clearly, right now, he's a relevant politician in parliament, so best believe that he will be able to find his way around this. In September of 2022, she made another post about cheaters, people who cheat, saying that once a cheater, always a cheater, talking about people who cheat don't change, even though they are caught. She also made a post asking people to help her get a job. And I think this was the post that made it clear that the reason why she could not just leave at the time was because she was not financially independent. Obviously, the cheating comments were about her husband, because who else would she be talking about? What was funny is that same month in September, her husband, Sibosiso, made a happy birthday post about his wife, wishing her a happy birthday, giving her all the beautiful words, making it look like nothing was going on. And people would have been confused as to, wow, is this man wishing his wife a happy birthday? In the same month, the wife posted about cheaters don't change, help me get a job, I can't wait to leave this marriage. It was confusing for a lot of people who were probably friends of both of them. In November, she also made another cryptic post, on the 26th of November to be specific, because she died on the 27th. So the day before, she made a post in the line of, an environment that is not safe to disagree is not an environment focused on growth. It is an environment focused on control. At the same time, she posted a picture of a man beating a woman on her Facebook and encouraged young girls to choose a good man over a handsome animal. And the next day, on the 27th of November 2022, where she said, "Secrets and lies kills a relationship no matter how careful you are." It was that night that Sibusiso had gone to a bar to drink with friends and had come home drunk. It is believed that allegedly, when he came home, Jennifer confronted him about his behavior. They got into a heated argument where he physically assaulted her multiple times, beating her up, and eventually stabbing her a number of times till she died. There's also a chance that their last child, the little baby, saw him do it, saw him kill her mother. There's that possibility, which would explain her behavior subsequently, avoiding the father and running away from the man and crying whenever he picks her up. Because one thing about children, they will be truthful. Their behavior towards you would reveal a lot. Children are not stupid. After Sibusiso had finished killing Jennifer, that was when he realized what he had done, and allegedly it was said that he decided to scatter the whole house and leave the door open to make it look like someone else had come in to do it. And since he was a politician, there's that possibility that it was believable for him to claim that it was a political enemy that had come to do this to his wife. But the only problem was he was just a member of parliament. Political enemies don't, there are levels to politics where you start having political enemies. Governors trying to fight for governorship, I can get one trying to kill the other one. President trying to fight for presidency, I can get one trying to kill the other one. But as a member of parliament, just being there, I mean, you don't necessarily have a I don't know if anyone would. It's like two assistant class prefects fighting to kill each other for. There are just some positions in politics that nobody really wants to kill you for. Like nobody, I'm sure when he won the election, he was the only one who contested. So why is he trying to make it look like he was one big shot in the parliament, in the political arena, that he suddenly had political enemies? And if he claimed it was robbery, the police also realized that nothing of value was stolen. Nothing was stolen. So if the people came to steal, what was stolen? Nothing. The house was just scattered and the woman was murdered. On the 20th of January 2023, Sibusiso was arrested and arraigned in court. He pleaded not guilty to the murder of Jennifer and applied for bail a number of times but was denied. In April of 2023, he went to the High Court to apply for another bail where he was granted 50,000 rand bail. And since he was at flight risk, which means that there's a chance he could fly out of the country and run away, they seized his international passports. While he was awaiting trial, he lost his parliament membership. This was around October in 2023. And in May of 2024, this year, the state made an appeal for his bail to be recounted, to be retracted. Because now that he was on bail, he was allowed to be out and about his life. But the problem is, they realized that he was going to witnesses, threatening them to change their statements, and also trying to bribe some people to testify on his behalf to make him look innocent. This was an alleged claim by the state, which made them beg the court to take him back to prison. Because if he's out of prison, he will tamper with the proceedings and the processes of the court case. People who knew things that could land him in jail or that could land him a sentence, he was going after those people. And one thing we know about some cases we've seen in South Africa, witnesses tend to disappear when it's time for the trials. Some even die. And I think anyone who is capable of stabbing his wife multiple times is also capable of making witnesses disappear. I think it was important that the state take his bail back and put him in jail till the trial was over. As at the time of making this video, Sibusiso has not been found guilty. So, I mean, there is still that 1, 2, 3% chance that it was an armed robber who did it, or a political rival who did it. But every indication is pointing that he may have been the one who killed his wife. After all, even though the dead cannot speak anymore, she did speak a lot before she died. And she said one thing: if anything happens to her, don't look far. And I think the police are on the right track. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Sibusiso believed that somebody took advantage of his wife's post, of his situation with his wife, to kill Jennifer so that he can look like the bad guy. That is a possibility. But do you agree with him, or do you believe that he was the one who did it? Me personally, I would have believed in a 50-50 chance that maybe he did it or maybe someone else did it, a political rival, if he wants to call it that. But the one thing for me that gives it away is the fact that that last child, that little girl, their last born, who was there the day Jennifer was killed, started behaving differently towards him. And that to me says a lot. That to me shows that there is something there. That to me shows that she saw it happen, but he did not think she would know because she was a child. Children are pretty smart. For that little child to avoid you, to run away from you after your wife had been killed, after her mother had been killed, it means she saw something. And whoever she saw doing it looked like you or was you. And that is the only thing that made me feel like, yeah, he did it. Otherwise, why is your own daughter running away from you? I hope that is brought in court. Explain to the court why your daughter is running away from you. Why your daughter don't want you to carry her. Why your daughter cries whenever you come near. Explain that. Explain. And why your kids had to be sent away from their home to live with relatives. I don't know. I don't see him getting out of this. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notification button. So whenever there's a new update to this story, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you for watching.